Welcome to Intepro Systems. This video explains the advantages of Intepro Systems' auto-ranging feature found in our PS and PSI series programmable DC power supply. We understand there's certain challenges in selecting the right programmable DC power supply for your application requirements. Below is some feedback we received from customers over the year regarding this process. Most manufacturers offer umpteen voltage and current combinations. It can be a tedious process to find just the right voltage and just the right current combination to meet the unit under test power requirements. What if the DC supply needs to power a product that has a wide-ranging input? We'll come back to this in a few minutes. What if the DC power supply needs to power several different products with different input voltages? The cost and the size implications of oversizing a DC power supply to meet power requirements across a wide voltage range. Having to buy a DC supply that fits the power requirements for one application only and not planning for the future. In this illustration, we've selected a typical 15 kilowatt programmable DC power supply that operates on what we call a square operating curve. For this particular 15 kilowatt power supply, it's capable of 500 volts and 30 amps. As the programmable DC power supply is programmed down in voltage, say at 250 volts, the source still provides the same 30 amps, so the total actual power output of the unit is only 7,500 watts. To continue that, down at say 166 volts, the source is still only capable of 30 amps, so that 15 kilowatt power source at 166 volts is actually only capable of delivering 5,000 watts. Let's take a look at the auto-ranging feature of Intepro Systems. The area shaded in green represents the expanded operating range of the programmable DC power supply. One of the first things you might notice is that this power supply is actually capable of 750 volts, and at 750 volts a maximum of 20 amps for a total of 15 kilowatts. As the power source is programmed down in voltage, say at that previous 500 volts, the source automatically increases its output current capability to 30 amps to maintain that 15,000 watts. To further that, down at 250 volts, where the previous supply only provided 30 amps, the auto-ranging source maintains its 60 amps output for a total of 15,000 watts. At 166 volts, the source has increased its current capability to 90 amps, so it maintains just at 15 kilowatts. Most auto-ranging power sources will continue this increased current capability to about 33% of its maximum voltage range. Now that you understand the theory of operation of auto-ranging power supplies, let's go ahead and take a look at a real-world condition. On top you'll see Intepro Systems ELR programmable DC load, and on the bottom our PSI auto-ranging power supply. We're going to go ahead and turn the output of the power supply on. You'll notice that the voltage is set to 300 volts while the electronic load is set to 55 amps of current. The source is currently providing 31.35 amps at 300 volts. Now as we reduce that 300 volts to lower voltages, the source automatically increases its current output capability until it reaches the set point of the load at 55 amps. Then as the voltage is increased back up, the source automatically decreases the output current. What challenges? Intepro Systems auto-ranging power supplies are addressing a lot of the challenges. Auto-ranging sources often reduce model selection by up to 60%. On the left, you'll see our PSI series model selection versus on the right, some of our competitors. We've greatly simplified this process. Auto ranging is capable of testing wide-ranging input products, as well as being able to test multiple different products with various input voltages. Auto ranging often results in lower powered solutions to meet current demands at lower voltages. Let's take a look at a couple examples. We previously showed you an example of a wide-ranging input voltage supply that operates from 10 to 100 volts. In this particular case, you would need to plan for worst case voltage of 100 and also worst case current of 160 amps. Well, the Intepro solution would be a 15 kilowatt, 200 volts, 210 amp source. While on the right, you see a non-auto ranging traditional power supply that would be rated at 20 kilowatts, provide 100 volts and 200 amps. So not only does the Intepro solution offer an additional 100 volts compared to those traditional power supplies, you'll also might notice that it's half the size and also half the weight compared to those solutions. Another more extreme example would be this photovoltaic inverter that operates to a maximum of 520 volts and a maximum of 58 amps. The PV inverter is rated for a total of 6,800 watts. The Intepro solution would be our PSI 9750-60, which is a 15 kilowatt, 750 volt, 60 amp source, which would cover the both voltage and current requirements from the PV inverter. On the right, again, a traditional non-auto ranging power supply would be rated at 45,000 watts, 600 volts, 72 amps. Again, half the size, half the weight, and obviously some very significant cost savings in going with an auto-ranging power source. Back to solving the challenges, an auto-ranging programmable DC power supply often reduces the need of buying grossly oversized DC supplies. The previous example shows the cost and size benefits of auto-ranging power sources. The extended output voltage range allows you to plan for the future and the demands of today.